If you offer a free consultation to get more clients, you may have one or more of these problems. Getting people to book sessions, getting people to show up for sessions, or making a sale from that consultation. And then there's what if you don't make a sale at the consultation? If that was the purpose of it, what you do next with that lead. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Fitness Marketing Mastery, where I share sales and marketing strategies that are anything but salesy, sleazy, and pushy, so that you can learn to comfortably and with integrity build a life and a business that you love. And today, you get it. We're diving all in to free consultations, and I'll even make you question that as part of this. But there are really 10 parts, and you may not have considered that. And heck, I would have to say that it was probably 8 years ago, I actually created a training tool, and there were 5 steps. But as I think about it now, in the way that I've done business and the way that I've done some consulting and coaching for personal trainers, if we add more steps, we're going to have more success, which is not always the case. Usually it's simplify, simplify, simplify. And in a way, you're going to take the 5 steps that happen really within that session and simplify them by what you do before and after. So, buckle your seatbelts, and if any of this resonates with you and you really have no idea what your numbers are when it comes to tracking how successful you are with those free consultations, you just know you need to booking them, or you need to keep booking them so that you can continue to get more clients, because ultimately, or at least eventually, you do get more clients. So let's talk about this. First of all, I want you to stop the anti-sales chatter going on in your head right now. So let's be clear that I totally understand none of us wants to be salesy, pushy, or sleazy. So since I didn't even mention that till now, I want you to do a self-check here about how you even feel about this whole episode title and the topic of sales. Because unless you're going to work for somebody else, and even then, if you can't sell, you'll never be in charge of your own destiny. People who can sell run the world. The people you can help need to buy your services, and your job is to help them, the right ones, do that. Improving your success at any step of your consultations will help your business. Improve your success at every step will boost your business significantly. So listen, if you aren't part of a group of people helping you do this, or a business that makes you do this, and if you are, by the way, be thankful, or part of a mastermind or sales and marketing strategy group, so you can review how you get leads, how you convert leads into customers, how you get more value from every customer, how you renew and you keep customers, and how you get more new customers from current customers, then it's time to be sure that this is a part of your business every week. The earlier in your business career that you start this, the sooner you realize if you didn't ask anybody to become a client today, nobody can say yes. Before you even take any of the suggestions that I will list in this episode, I highly recommend that you start tracking your statistics. Look at your insights and listen. If you can do that on a platform like Facebook or Instagram that you don't even own. So if you're not looking at every move that you make in your own business, what are you doing? So let's track these things. Every month, week, and day, you want to be able to break it out like that. The number of consultations that you booked, the number of consultations conducted, because let's face it, somebody will no-show. The number of sales from consultations, the number of sales from prior consultations, number of no at consultations, and the reasons for every missed sale. Now, you and I know that's probably going to be not enough time, not enough money. I have to ask somebody, I have to think about it. Those are the top four. And last but not least, the number of total sales. So let me run through those again. These things you need to track, and you need to do these on a by the month, by the week, and by the day glance. So the number of consultations that you book, the number you actually conduct, the number of sales that you make from those consultations, the number of sales that you make from prior consultations, the number of no's at consultations, and the reasons for every missed sale, and the number of total sales per day, per week, and per month. So, is it you or your team? If you personally don't do every or even any free consultations to get new clients for your business, track anyone on your team who does. Should they be doing those free consultations, or should they have additional training to do those? Average closing percentages in the fitness business are about 40% for consultations. But if you do a really good job of preparing people before they get there for what's going to happen, I believe that your standard should never be lower than 50%. Look, most of us did not go to school to learn sales or persuasive language or copywriting. I'll bet that the courses in continuing education that you're taking are all about conditions and training strategies or joints and muscles and something you feel lacking in or really interested in, as opposed to something that will help you get the clients that you want to train with that knowledge. Am I right? Don't be the best kept, most educated secret. It takes sales. So do really well at marketing, and the sales part is easy. If you're not part of a group of people supporting you to grow your business, and does this sound like a broken record? I know, but listen, having a Monday morning meeting where you have to track your numbers actually forces you to do the things between Monday afternoon and Sunday night so that you will have better numbers. So your profit and your business and your ability to identify how you can keep the money that you make by being smarter about your expenses so that you don't out-educate yourself instead of marketing yourself. Find a way to fix that. If you want to be in charge of your own future and the revenue and the profit that you make, you know how to sell, or you are committed to learning it. You're good at it and you enjoy it. And yes, you can do those things. If you're not there, you can learn. It's the path to helping people. If you have a money relationship that is damaged, you've got to fix it. And listen, that's way more than even a single other episode. But it could be that you in your head are saying no before you even ask somebody else. If I could have shared that message in thousands of trainers that I've met from university teaching, from managing personal training department, and presenting internationally, it would be that. If I could share just one message. And yes, of course, you're passionate about the workouts and the learning more, as you should be. But the presenters that you envy and love, many of them don't even have the life and the freedom that you want. Make sure you're following someone who both loves their life and has built the business. Is a free consultation to get clients a good idea? Well, it is if it works, but look closely at who books sessions with you and how long they've followed you and been looking. A free consultation is a big, huge first step for someone who is intimidated, feels like a failure, and doesn't want to be judged. So that leaves about 15% of the population who are already quick decision makers. They're already ready, that will be most likely to book a session. And if you're not careful with them, you could talk them out of it. They're already annoyed that they can't get started and could figure out how to buy what they wanted without the consultation. So it's clear that you have to be clear. What is your objective for the free consultation? And I mean this on a meta level. What is your objection for yourself? And what is your objection for the customer? And then you better think really well about what is the customer's expectation about what's going to happen. And don't leave that to chance. You have to send them a message. And if that message isn't that this is the time when they decide which way they're going to work with you and take care of all the details of getting enrolled, and yet that's what you intend, then you're probably going to have a customer, or not have a customer, but have a prospect leave a little disgruntled, not happy with your service. They may be expecting a free session that would show them exactly what they need and how they're going to work out so they can do it on their own. So, what happens if somebody feels misled? And that is indeed what they wanted and expected. Maybe somebody led them to believe it. Imagine how they'll feel if they don't get that. Not likely that if you shock them at the session and there's no exercise or assessment, or they don't get what they wanted, that they're going to be excited about working with you in a paid situation after that. Imagine instead that you've asked exactly what it is they want at the session so that you can give it to them. What if you share with them the exact process of how the meeting happens and the objective and what they'll leave with before the meeting? Then you remind them of how you'll spend time during consultation during the first few minutes, and then you summarize at the end of the session exactly what you did. How will they feel after a session like that? If you're nodding your head, you get it. We all like to know. Clear expectations make a huge difference in our satisfaction of an experience. So those big signs and invitations for free consultation with a trainer or a health coach or your nutritionist, they're a big mistake. Give them some description. Start with, who's this for? Who's this not for? What you'll learn, what you'll take away. And don't be afraid to put what this is not. Because we all know we can't write out a month's worth of programming for someone, or even in a 45-minute consultation, give them the best program. Because we can't have done an assessment, we can't have actually seen them moving and done all the things that have to happen in that background. Explain to them why it wouldn't be responsible for you to do that, but what it is that you can do, and focus on that. Here they are, the 10 parts of a free consultation to get clients. Number 1, re-examine. Should you even do it for free? Here's a model to think about, one I've contemplated many, many times, but have not yet implemented. Charging for that consultation and allowing it to be free only if then they purchase. So letting it be said that there's a nominal fee for the consultation, and that is applied to their first next step, that first package that they might get with you. So decide if that's what feels the best to you. And number 2 is preview and screen. So I like to give a survey before somebody, ideally before they can book. So here's the survey. Then at the bottom of the survey, they actually get the link to book the session. See how that works? So when you say, here's how to book a session, what you're actually giving them is, I use Typeform. Great service. I highly recommend it. So you can create really professional looking, even customize them in your brand colors, surveys of, one question, two questions, but they're super easy to set up and very professional. And you get all the results at your fingertips. When you've got somebody on the phone, you can open it up and see what their answers were. So I give them the link to book their session. They answer the questions. And then at the last, thank you, here's the link to book your appointment. See how that works? So if they go through that type form and they're getting the hint that I'm asking how ready they are to get started, how important this is to them, what they've already considered, and why they're considering working with me. I'm implying that that's where they're at. And then they'll book. And if those questions are feeling like, uh-oh, I'm out, then they are. And they don't waste my time jumping on a consultation. So think about that. How do you preview and screen anyone who gets to that consultation? Step 3 is the reminder. You've got to send one. So whether you set something up so it sends the reminder versus via email or text or phone. And here's why I include phone in that list, because if anybody no-shows who's gotten so far as they have booked, I have that phone and I'm going to call them. Various calendars, whether it's Calendly, it's Appointment Core, it's, Schedule Me. Various ones may allow you to ask the person who's booking if they want a text reminder. So check them out. If you're already using something, check out what are your options. But I would highly recommend a text versus an email reminder. Won't get lost. It's a smart way to go. And if it costs a little bit more, it's probably worth it, because when people no-show, that time that you're spending, not worth it. Step 4 is the overview. And that really is what happens at the very first few minutes of your free consultation. So the way these sessions go typically is, and that's how you'd lead. And you then are going to make sure you ask permission. So you're going to give them the preview, meaning you're actually taking control, but you're going to let them feel as if you're in this together. They're making the decisions and calling the shots, meaning here's the way these sessions typically go to make them feel at home. You're laying it out. And then at the end, and you're saying, and what I'll do is be listening along the way to your questions, to the answers that you're giving me when I'm asking a question. And I'll make recommendations at the end about what I think your next best step would be. Does that sound okay? You're asking permission, you're putting them in the driver's seat. They're suddenly a lot more relaxed. Part number 5, that's the middle. That's really the chance to dive in. You can use some of the notes, but listen, literally that survey that you give them, that type form, is really all about screening to make sure they're not just here to pick your brain and waste your time. They don't just want free information from you because they got access to you. You're setting them up to answer the questions about, how excited are you about starting to work with me? How long has this been a problem? And where are you on a scale from 0 to 10 of really wanting to solve this problem? Those kinds of questions. And what have you tried before considering working with me as your coach? That kind of a leading question is all that survey is really destined to do, is to weed out the freebie seekers. And if answers are poor, you're probably going to reach out to them first before the consultation and let them know, this may not be a great fit for you, but here's what I'd like to share with you because I think this will serve you. And give them a freebie, something that literally is free, which is not your time. But In the middle, this is where you're actually going to have to answer or ask some questions and answer theirs. So you may want to ask that right up front. Is there one or two things that before you leave today, you absolutely want an answer to this or to get clear on this? And then you can ask clarifying questions about what they're doing now, what the biggest problem they would like to solve is. Your goal here is getting them to talk. The more they talk, the less you talk, the better. And you'd want to get them to identify their problem, talk about their problem, talk about why this isn't working. And then you want to agitate it a little bit. Step 6 is your pre-close. So literally when they tell you, these are the things that I'd like, and this is, like the answer to the questions that I want before I leave today, your pre-close is actually, so if I could give you the answers to this, or if I could provide you with a series of training sessions or a program that would actually solve that problem, would that be something you're interested in doing? And all you're looking for is that initial yes. We're not going to talk about money yet. And another pre-close. Once you've discussed and you're almost to the end, you're going to ask, are you looking for some help with that? Would you like some help with that? Right? And number 7, you're going for the close. And that next question is, would you like my help with that? And then let's just take care of the details. And here's what to expect next. Once you enroll, blah, 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 blah. So you're using these little statements along the way to just work them right down the path as if there was nothing more natural than this. Many of my customers ask to add blank. This is what's called an upsell. Do you want to do that too? And if you'd like to, I will add that today, right now, for something off, a % off or a dollar amount off. So you're going to give them something very special they won't get again. And you can tell them, listen, if you want to think about that, I totally understand. You can get it later, just I can't offer it at this rate again, but it will be available for you. So you assure those people who have to think on things a little bit longer, it's okay, no pressure. And you let those people who are rapid decision makers and they're like, yes, I want that, and I want to save, you let them have it right there. Step number 8 is follow up immediately. So there's a chance that someone comes in for their assessment or their consultation with you, or they're at home and they don't have their credit card right on them, or they may tell you that. Very likely it's within arm's reach, but you may get that. So if that's true, you're simply going to do no pressure and you're going to follow up with them immediately. Here's the link. Here's how to get started. Here's, once you send that in to me tonight, I'll make sure I've got spots held for you based on what we talked about. And you send that within a couple of hours, ideally. Unless you've got a back-to-back day, you send it as soon as you possibly can. But this is where having padding between your appointments is really helpful. So you just stay caught up. You don't have to remember any details or what notes you might have scribbled. You can all follow up, send it off, and it's done. So make sure it's either the same day for a thank you because they did purchase, or for the links to complete the transaction. Follow up a couple of days later, and that would be, for me, if someone actually expressed interest. I sent them the link and I didn't hear from them. Email is a black hole, my friends. So don't think that they ducked you and ditched you. Expect that, hey, you know what? I know how email is. I'm just bringing this to your inbox to float it to the top. And I'd love for you to just respond that you received it. So let me know, and I will send that off, and then I will text them and say, hey, I just sent you an email in case you didn't see it. That's all I'll say. Nothing else, because it'll pique curiosity. Don't elaborate. And they'll be compelled. People are, to go and read it. All right. So, number 10. All right. Now you've done all of that. Number 10 is following up with a long term nurture. Let's say you got a no, or even you thought you had a warm lead and they were going to do it, but they didn't actually follow through. And finally, maybe you got a hold of them and they said, you know what, I went home and decided not to, or bought a car on the way home and spent all the money, whatever the reason. Probably it is this: now is not the right time. It's not no forever. It's just no right now. Most trainers, health coaches, don't have a great system for follow up. They just go on to the next one. I've got to see more people. I've got to see more people. Wow. You could be nurturing these people so that they are in your funnel and they will continue to be there until they're no longer interested and they unsubscribe. They're a viable source of your next client. So follow up, put them on a long-term nurture list. And that means you're going to send emails once a week at the very minimum. And anymore, if you really want to be top of mind, you're sending value driven emails more than once a week. So make them one of them workout videos, workout suggestions, workout tips, warm up tips, core exercise, corrective exercise. There's so many things you could do a video about, but if it says video in the subject line, I guarantee you it'll get open by a large percentage of people. And the other day, give recipes, because that is the other thing. People clearly do not have enough recipes. No one will ever have too many recipes. So if you can share your option for healthy hot fudge sundaes, there you go. Follow up with them. And these are golden subject lines. So pull up a chair. If you went away, come back to me right now. Is now a better time? And are you still interested? That is the opportunity to let them know that, you actually might be like deleting part of your email list if you don't hear from people, if they're not taking action, and people tend to open that one up. It's an interesting attention getter. So use it, but sparingly. The more you use it, the less it will work. There you have it. Those are the 10 parts of looking at your free consultation for getting clients. I hope that was helpful. And I would sit down and look at what it is you have going right now with free consultations. And if you're really just offering them because the industry seems to offer them, or you're offering them because you're good at them and you get a lot of them and you have a lot of success and people come back and say that consultation was awesome. But if you don't, I would fix the consultation before you try to get a lot more leads. There you have it. Hope that was helpful. What are you waiting for? The world needs you now more than ever.